Good afternoon, Davies High School. Principal Troy Cody. Just wanting to provide everybody with an update from Davies High School and put together a PowerPoint here for you to share that information. Some of the topics I'd like to share with you about include graduation. I want to give you the updated plan on our graduation process, the grading scale adjustments that have been made, the idea behind PLD drop-off and pickup of information, personal belongings. Want to share some initial conversations about next fall, and then want to end our time here together announcing the Student Council Teacher of the Year. So let's talk a little bit about graduation. You may have heard late last week, the district did have some official decisions made on graduation. For us here at Davies High School, we will officially be graduating. Our ceremony will be May 31st. It's a Sunday afternoon at noon. The July 25th date that was looked at earlier will no longer be part of the ceremony. There's going to be no student rehearsal practice. Graduates, we're asking you on that date, the 31st, to arrive at 11 a.m. in the parking lot at Davies High School. In case of inclement weather, we will push our ceremony from noon back to 2. If weather's still bad, we'll push it to 4 and then to 6. And if it looks like it's just going to be a downpour all day, we do have an indoor contingency plan that we have considered and put into place at that point in time. The ceremony details will be conducted outside at the stadium field. The ceremony was planned according to North Dakota SMART Restart graduation ceremony guidance that was given to us from the Department of Public Instruction, who worked very closely with the governor's office. It was approved by our local health officials, and they were working very closely with our district office. Each graduate will have an assigned seat, socially distanced, 6 foot from the next graduate sitting by them. The Davies High School staff, so many of our staff are going to help us coordinate and stage those students in the parking lot, helping park cars and get them all lined up so that at high noon when we start the ceremony, they will help usher students up into their seats. Masks for students will be highly encouraged. Masks will be highly encouraged, but not mandatory. We do know it's an exciting time for our students because they're going to be able to see friends and some of their classmates that they haven't seen forever. But we also recognize that it's a difficult time for parents. Our original plan that was submitted did account for 2 tickets for every graduate. Just unfortunately, local health officials in district office and the state, just the too many just issues around that particular large group gathering setting. So we do recognize that it's a disappointment to our parents and guardians, but on the same token, we're excited for our graduates, our seniors, as they are able to spend time together with their classmates. The ceremony, however, will be live streamed, and although not in person, certainly you can conduct watch parties, and that link can be found to the live stream on the Davies homepage. We will capture photos of the graduates, Shirlene Photography. There we'll be taking that formal picture of the graduate as they have in the past. A link to that webpage will be sent out at a later date and time. There will be other photographers at the ceremony taking some candid photos, and when I get that information to those links, I'll forward that to you parents as well. I did send out a survey to all seniors this morning, just asking them to respond so that if indeed they don't feel comfortable coming to the ceremony for a variety of reasons, or they won't be able to make it, just looking for that information so that we can plan a really nice ceremony with all of those graduates that will be in attendance. We've made adjustments to our grading scale. They can be seen on this slide. 80, 90, 80, 70, and 60 has not changed. What we have done is we've included 2 other categories, the P and the U. Those students who earned a percentage between 50 and 59 will receive a P, a letter grade of a P, which stands for passing. They will receive credit, and those students between 0 and 49 will receive a U, an unsatisfactory, and they will not receive credit. Just in the midst of this COVID pandemic, a lot of adjustments had to be making just for so many a variety of unique situations. And so we feel this is a great compromise. There is the incompletes that we've always had in the past. Teachers can work with those individual students if the incomplete is used. Those students that do earn an unsatisfactory grade will, again, not receive credit, nor would their GPA be impacted. Students would be allowed to retake the class if they have that U on their transcript. We can get that removed if and when they successfully retake that class. Here's our plan for the PLD drop-offs. Students will have 3 locations to drop off their PLDs. Many of you know door 4 and door 10. They're on the east side. That door 4 is right there in the parking lot in the bus loop. Door 10 is that main activity door that a lot of our athletes and students use in that Phi Ed area. So those are 2 main areas where we'll be collecting our PLDs. And then on the west side of our school, door 30 is our staff entrance. That's where we will also be allowing students to pick up their personal belongings. The dates and times are listed here. Wednesday the 27th from noon to 3, and then Thursday, pretty near all day, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Any student, again, who needs to pick up their belongings on that west side door 30. If you're a student in summer school or taking a summer school class, you do not need to turn in your PLD until that class is done. If you are a student taking an AP class for next year, or you're looking for some summer work from your teachers, if they have you do some summer reading in some of those AP classes, that work will be left here down in the main office, and you can visit with us in the main office, set an appointment to come pick up that work. Again, students, if you left some of your personal belongings either in your main locker, school locker, or maybe down in the Phi Ed or the varsity locker rooms, we've collected all of that information. We put it into bags, and that's going to be on the west side over at door 30. That's the only place that you'll be able to pick up your personal belongings. Drive up curbside, share your name with the staff, and all of the belongings will be provided to you. Again, all PLD and student pickup dates are Wednesday, noon to 3, the 27th, Thursday, May 28th, 9 to 3. If you need to make a personal appointment, you can always call us in the main office at 446-5605. What will school look like in the fall? Well, that is indeed a great question. Nobody knows at this point in time. There are 3 possible scenarios that we will be planning for. The first would be just a normal return to school. And I'm certain that we are all crossing our fingers and saying our prayers. That's what indeed our fall will look like. But we do know that we do need to plan accordingly, and we need to prepare for a virtual return. That second opportunity that we have would be what happens to our school year if it looks a lot like we are currently in, virtually. And then the third scenario that we're planning for is what happens if we do return to a normal school year and then we are suspended in the fall? What does that look like? So these are all types of conversations that we're having, including teacher input and the parent survey that was sent out from the district office. All of these things are going to help us craft our plans for this coming fall and what that looks like. We do have a new bell schedule that we'll be following next fall at the secondary levels in Fargo Public Schools. We did submit a variance to the state. It looks like each of our high schools will be starting at around 8:45 at North and at Davies. South will be starting 15 minutes prior to that to allow for our students to drive the shuttle bus to the South High for their ROTC or welding programs. But it does allow in this new plan for students to work with their teachers from 8 in the morning until about 8:30. So every day there'll be some collaboration time for our teachers to do some PLC 2 days a week. And then the other 2 days a week we'll be allowing for teachers to meet with those students, what we're calling our intervention, to get that specific targeted help. And then on Fridays, during that time frame, we'll have miscellaneous class meetings, a variety of school meetings, and then additional time for our teachers to meet with students and with their colleagues. Again, more details on that bell schedule will be coming out later this summer. And then finally, what we've been talking a little bit about this fall is what parts can we reflect on and perhaps include moving forward. We realize and recognize that indeed this has been a very difficult time for many students and many families. But on the flip side of that, we've heard from many families and students that this has actually worked really well for them. They've excelled. They've indeed have enjoyed this type of school. So we're really trying to slice off what would be beneficial for us to consider using as a hybrid into the fall and into future school years. So a lot of great conversation that is happening in many of our different professional learning communities around what parts can we truly take and modify and make adjustments to make it work for all students that really want that as options in the future. If you didn't know, each and every Friday we send out weekly student announcements. Myself and Jack Lingle, a senior student here, conduct a Zoom meeting where we provide virtual student announcements. It's been actually kind of fun to sit with Jack and share many different topics and we share lots of information with our students. So the last 3 Fridays, we've sent that out to our students in all grades 9 through 12 and had a lot of fun with that. One quick point that I wanted to take out from last week's student announcements is this virtual Chalk Fest. Many of you know that we have hosted Davies Day during my tenure here, and it's been really a celebration to end the school year. Well, of the many events that were canceled due to the COVID pandemic, this is one where we've tried to do our best to conduct a virtual Chalk Fest. Tons of information out there, but if you know that if you want to send a picture, maybe get together with another family member and just really try to get families outside. It's going to be a great weather this week. Virtual Chalk Fest. If you take a picture of it, you can send it to the Instagram account there at Davies Chalk Fest 2020 or the hashtag Davies Chalk Fest 2020. Send those pictures by 2 p.m. Friday, May 22nd, and we'll select a couple of winners and best of show in a variety of categories. But again, it's a great event for the family to do the virtual Chalk Fest. And then finally, we want to congratulate Mr. Stephen Orell. Stephen is a social studies teacher here. On Friday, we had a virtual staff meeting where we were excited to hear from many of our students who they were able to present Stephen with the 2019-2020 Davies High School Teacher of the Year. He teaches economics and government and very well deserving of this award, as many of our teachers are. But a special congratulations to Mr. Stephen Orell for the recognition of the Davies High School Student Teacher of the School Teacher of the Year. And then finally, I just want to continue to thank you for your partnership. We are Davies Strong. We trust that that you're doing your very best as well as we are. We're extending grace and patience with one another through this time, continuing to hold our kids accountable to try to help them gain a few skills in the midst of this virtual time. But together, we're going to continue to make a difference. We miss our kids. We miss hearing their laughter and their smiles, but we're certainly going to look back on this time and all approach it from a growth mindset, which we've done. So want to encourage you to get out this week, enjoy the weather. Trust that you've enjoyed this update of this week. So again, we are Davies Strong. Have a great week, everyone.